This exchange unfolds during a high-stakes congressional hearing, where questions about federal law enforcement actions collide with allegations of misinformation. At the center are two individuals, Renee Good and Alex Prey, killed during an ICE-related operation in Minnesota, and a dispute over whether they were accurately labeled domestic terrorists. As lawmakers press the Secretary of Homeland Security for answers, the stakes extend beyond rhetoric into questions of accountability, due process, and public trust in federal agencies.
I now recognize the ranking member for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're fighting for American citizens, Madam Secretary, because your ICE agents shot them in the face and killed them, and each person you see up on this dais today represents 800,000 American citizens. And you should know that as a former member of Congress. Now, her brother said that Renee Good was someone who could make you believe things were going to be okay despite all the hardship because she chose optimism. Alex Preddy was a Boy Scout, a choir member, an outdoorsman from Green Bay who lavished attention on his beloved dog, Jewel. His sister called her brother someone who had a way of lighting up every room that he walked into. But only a few hours after they were gunned down by your agents, you called Renee a domestic terrorist. You said Alex committed an act of domestic terrorism. Alex's parents responded to your calling their son a domestic terrorist. They said, the sickening lies told about our son by the administration are reprehensible and disgusting. Now, I want to give you a chance before the entire country to correct your false and defamatory claim. Based on what you know today, Madam Secretary, were Renee Good and Alex Preddy domestic terrorists?
Congressman, what happened in Minnesota in those two incidents was an absolute tragedy.
Were they domestic terrorists, as you said to the country?
My condolences to their families, because I know that their lives will never be the same after that happened.
Is that an apology for what you said?
We, in those incidents, offer as much information as we can from officers and agents on the ground in a chaotic scene that gets
I'll repeat my question, reclaiming my time. Based on what you know today, Madam Secretary, based on what you know today, were Renee Good and Alex Preddy domestic terrorists?
As you know, there's ongoing investigations that are being led by the FBI.
But you didn't wait for the investigation, did you? You didn't wait for the evidence. You proclaimed that they were domestic terrorists at the time. Why did you do that?
And you didn't wait to attack our law enforcement.
Why did you do that?
We're going into a dangerous situation.
Why did you call them domestic terrorists?
Because our ICE officers and our HSI officers that day risked their lives to protect that scene. So evidence could be reclaimed. So it could be used in the investigation. Because those violent rioters that were there...
So you're proud of the fact that you called them...
At this point, the hearing shifts from grief to a dispute over narrative control. In congressional oversight settings, language matters immensely. Labeling someone a domestic terrorist carries not just legal weight, but social and political consequences. Under federal law, domestic terrorism involves acts dangerous to human life intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population or influence government policy. It is not a casual descriptor. The Secretary's reliance on ongoing investigations reflects a standard institutional posture. Agencies often avoid definitive statements while facts are still developing. But the Congressman's argument highlights a different concern: whether the administration moved too quickly in shaping public perception before evidence was complete. So the broader question becomes, in fast-moving crises, should officials prioritize immediate transparency even if details later change? Or should they withhold labels until investigations conclude, even if that leaves a temporary information vacuum? This tension between speed and accuracy is a recurring challenge in modern governance, especially in an era of instant media amplification.
Domestic terrorists, is that what you're telling America?
HSI officers put their lives on the line to protect that scene, so evidence so we could have...
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. But you told a lie about them. You said that they were domestic terrorists. Do you regret that?
I offer my condolences to those families. And again,
based on what you know today, were Renee Good and Alex Preddy domestic terrorists?
There's ongoing investigations, and so I can't...
So you still don't know? You think that's an open question?
I would think you would want there to still be investigations going into these situations.
Well, you
So we'll
stated the
continue to
conclusion 2 hours after they were killed that they were domestic terrorists. I wanted to give you an opportunity to correct the record, not just for their family, but for everybody in America who believes in the truth and fairness and honesty.
In every situation, as facts come out, we relay
You know,
them and
your acting
communicate
ICE
them to
director,
families.
Todd Lyons, came before Congress. He said he had no knowledge whatsoever that Alex Peretti and Rennie Good were domestic terrorists. None. This is your guy. He said that. He admitted that that was wrong. Why won't you admit it?
I will tell you the investigation's still ongoing, and we'll.
So do you regret speaking before the investigation?
I would say that in those situations,
You regret
the
that?
chaotic scene on the ground, we relay information to the American people that they're asking for. And as the things change, situations change.
People
we
were
continue
asking
to
you whether they were
communicate that
domestic
as well.
terrorists?
We
And you
continue to
decided that they
communicate
were
to-
before the investigation?
As we learn more, we
You don't want to say anything to their families?
I did. I said condolences.
For what?
And I'm
How about an
heartsick
apology
their
for what you said about their loved
My
ones?
heart is with them, and we will continue to stand with them as they get a complete investigation into these situations.
All right. Well, let me ask you some questions of law if you can't handle the facts. Very simple questions of law, not trick questions. Is it lawful for federal agents to shoot and kill a person for engaging in peaceful protest and nothing else? That's a yes or no
Say
question.
Each instances in peaceful protest, no, it's not.
Okay,
But I
good.
would say
Is it
if-
lawful for federal agents to shoot and kill a person for filming them on a public street? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Is it lawful for federal agents to shoot and kill a person just because that person is lawfully carrying a holstered firearm under the Second Amendment in state law?
No.
And finally, yes or no, is it lawful for federal agents to shoot an innocent person or even a criminal suspect just for driving away from them, according to the Supreme Court?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you got the law right, and I hope you would rethink what you said about two good, honest, faithful American citizens and what that means to their families when you say that as Secretary of Homeland Security. And your ICE guy has already retracted that, and you should retract it too. I yield back to you, Mr. Chairman.
This hearing underscores a fundamental tension in democratic oversight: the balance between defending law enforcement officers who operate in dangerous conditions and ensuring that government officials speak with precision and restraint, especially when reputations and grieving families are involved. The legal questions raised at the end highlight constitutional guardrails around use of force, while the earlier exchange centers on public accountability and the power of official labels. Ultimately, this moment is less about partisan point scoring and more about credibility. When officials communicate during crises, accuracy can shape public trust for years to come. What do you think? Should public leaders wait for full investigations before using definitive language? Or is rapid communication more important in volatile situations? Share your perspective in the comments below. If you value thoughtful, fact-based analysis of the stories shaping public life, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth breakdowns.